Hello everyone, and my name is Sugi Yamagawa, and today on VTubing my slow life hobbies in my 30s, we're going to be doing some Yapping and Sawdust. We're going to continue working on the second Japanese sawhorse build. Today's goal is to get a whole bunch of tenons cut. At least get 3 tenons cut. That's the game plan for today. So, kinda get a few bit of my toolios out of the way. Bam. Here's kind of what we got so far. This is tenon number 1. This is one of our tenons. Here's mortise. This is actually so this is going to be one of the leg pieces for the build. So this is the first piece. I'll put that over there, I suppose. I don't know. Over here, sure. But we have a second piece, and this piece has nope and nope amount of tenons. So we're gonna be cutting. So we're gonna be working on laying out, measuring, marking, cutting a tenon on here. But yeah, it's a, as far as processes go, this is pretty reasonable, straightforward, but these are also like my more chill, relax, like just work on the project type streams. So I'm fully intending to have a pretty nice, reasonably nice day, get some tenons cut, do some yapping, all that fun stuff. Should be a reasonably good day. So I do have my build plans up off to the side, which I probably should be including links, but I keep forgetting to do that. So I think that's enough yammerings and yappings and what have yous. So we're gonna get to laying this out. So first off, I'm gonna determine how deep my tenon how deep I want my tenon to come over. So I want to come down 6 centimeters off the top. So I will put a mark at 6 centimeters. Also, all the build plans for this are in metric, in case you're wondering. So grab my little handy dandy speed square, and then I'm going to come up on my mark right there. And then using the speed square, I'm going to just transfer that mark. I come down, I check, I make sure my mark is there. So this is where I'm going to cut down to. This is what's going to be the bottom of the tenon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this towards you all, to come up on it, and then I'm going to use the miraculous properties of the speed square. You take that line and transfer it over to here. Just going to do a few cuts, just to, well, a few picks to make sure. And would you look at that? You gotta love it. You gotta love it when you can actually get like nice clean lines like that. So I have this bit here, got a lot of bark on it. Really don't want to be transferring marks there like that. So I'm going to take this. Now the line's facing towards me. So put the handy dandy speed square on it. Get up to my mark. And mark. Oh. And then there it is. Woo! But yeah. Pretty layout's reasonably easy if you kind of have like a little bit of experience and you kind of know what you're doing. So that line just now, I got a little bit too much of the overconfidence going on, and it was a little too high up, which is a real easy fix because I can just mark below it, and then that's a pretty good looking line right there. Oh, that's going to set the depth of my tenon. Now I have to figure out because this is going to be the bottom where I'm going to cut to. Now I got to figure out what this tenon is actually going to look like. So if you, going back to this piece here, I had mortise, then the short face was facing the side that the mortise is open at. So here, mortise is open. So So I'm going to have my short side be facing towards me here, which the width of... Ooh. So the width of this is slightly less than 3 centimeters. So that's what I'm going to want here, because these are going to be the same tenons on the same side of the sawhorse. Because these are going to go into basically the top brace of the sawhorse. So, for this part, I start off finding my center. So, generally my center has been 44 inches. Not 44 inches, 44 millimeters. Sorry, I'm a filthy imperial. So, there. So I want to come over. So we want to be basically a centimeter and a half on each side of the center line. So what I'm going to do is come here, mark that, go up here. Yeah, what do I want for that? See how this is. Okay, so I got 3 marks, a center, and side to side. If my marks are right, if I bring blur up to it, I'm definitely short. But that's fine. It's better to be too... It's always better to figure out what you have going on at the marking stage versus like later stages when you're actually got like... when you've got to saw the wood. So I'm going to just come up to here, double check lines. My center's definitely a little bit high. Definitely came a little bit higher than what I thought. But yeah, I definitely want to be at 44 millimeter. So this mark's looking pretty good. So if I do 15 minus by 44, it's 29 millimeter. Well, I made this mark at 35 millimeter, so I'm actually really off here. To do this, make a mark here. So, and then I'm going to check the full length of these marks. Reasonably close at this point. I'm reasonably close at this point. I kind of want to be on the inside of this mark. So, what all this is going to mean is I'm going to put my speed square here, then I'm going to come up to this mark just a hair bit, then squaring off this end. Granted, the problem is have a lot. You don't have a lot of meat on the board, so you don't. It's a little bit harder to square. So hold this, and that gets us this. So we kind of have a bit of a rectangle here. So to make sure these lines are good, I'm going to take this and come up to here and be like, yes, I've got 3 centimeters. So I want to be a bit smaller than that. So I'll probably try to cut on the inside of my lines. But this generally tells me, hey, I want this is going to be the short side of my mortise. And generally, this is how I mark my mortises usually, is I'll figure out my short side. This is going to be a scrap side. So it gets an X. Then I go over to this side. X. And then we're going to rinse and repeat the process on this side. And then once we do that, we can actually start cutting some wood. So, go ahead up to here. And set. Go ahead, identify our center. Do and I'll check all 3 centimeters. Excellent. reasonably happy with my lines. Start with the top one. It's a bit easier to be accurate with the top one than it is with the bottom one. That. And there we go. So that should be that marked out. They're looking reasonably good there. So, got my handy dandy handsaw. So for my first cut, I'm going to make the cut on this face going all the way down to roughly where my line is. So I don't want this piece of wood to wiggle too much, so give me a quick moment to grab a clamp. Lamp acquired. And then I'm going to clamp this to my workbench because I don't want this piece of wood moving too much. It's never fun to fight your workpiece. And basically what that means is you don't want your workpiece to be moving a whole lot while you're attempting to work with it. I love some like good non-caffeinated tea in the evening. So this is a Ryoba saw. It has two sides of teeth. These are the cross-cutting side. These are the ones I'll be using for this cut. Flip it over. These are the rip teeth. Rip teeth will cut along the grain. So eventually when we cut from the top down, we'll be using those teeth. But this is a cross-cut on this line here. So we'll be using cross-cutting teeth. So, and now this is going to be kind of fun. Because with the pull saw, it works out better if I have this supported, like higher up. But hey, we're just... Oop, I got distracted. It works when you're higher up, because then you can kind of get a bit more of an angle of attack versus what we're doing, versus what I got right here. What I got right here is how I lose saw blade. And by lose saw blade, I mean it escapes my curve. Because basically what you want to do is you want to like develop a good kerf, which is basically the space left in the piece of wood by the action of the saw. And then you want to use that kerf to guide the saw. So now I'm tilting my saw up, and I'm trying to slowly get a deeper curve here. Because as I get a deeper curve, it provides more support to the saw. But it's always good to like check, make sure your curve is on your line. It is right now, so far so good. So this is definitely, you don't want to get too overconfident. You don't want to get and this is definitely gonna probably be the only cut I do like this, because those higher angles of attack really help me out a lot with this. So we're gonna eventually flip this guy over, and then when we flip him, flip our workpiece over, we'll then be working on that side. Well, the other side, but on the other side, actually have some of the leg pieces for this build, and we'll use that to kind of get it a little bit higher up off the workbench. Because right now we're a little too low. because I can't get really good angles of attack on it. Even still have a very moving workpiece. Because when you have like a smaller angle of attack, you have less blade exposure to the workpiece, and it kind of tends to slide a bit better. So you'll like put on one side, and then you'll rock it back to the other side, but and then also while you're doing this, you really also want to make sure your blade is also going straight down. Okay. I'm gonna grab another clamp. So clamp 1 is on my workpiece. The second clamp, I'm actually gonna just set as a break at the edge. So now, if this piece of wood wants to move, it hits my second clamp. And it's not as likely to move. It's a little bit more bracing. But yeah, ideally these saws are meant to be used two-handed versus the one hand. You don't get as tired out as easily as if you... But I didn't put a lot of forethought into how I was going to do this cut, so... off. Because I'm actually like... I've actually angled it slightly in. Which is technically fine. I actually did it. I actually did the same thing with the tenon on the other one. But I need to get this. Woo! But yeah, we're getting real close. There's a lot of resistance with the saw right now. I don't know what it is with cedar, but occasionally I'll get like it just feels really resistive. No, almost there. Just and I think I'm gonna call that good. So I can leave that clamp there, but I do need to take my workpiece clamp off. So we'll take the workpiece clamp off, and we'll take a gander at what we got. So our kerf has come off our line. We had that angle thing I mentioned earlier, but we're reasonably consistent on both sides, and we're reasonably way through the piece. So that's good. And also just having a slight angle is mostly fine. Mostly fine. So I'm gonna bring this in. And bring its cousin in. And let's see here. Ooh, that. Yeah, it looks like a pretty decent spot. So what this is going to do is going to help me get a lot better of an angle of attack on it. I can go a lot steeper before I actually have to commit to being perfectly horizontal. But I do, yeah, Okay, let me grab a bigger clamp so I can actually clamp this to the bench. And clamp acquired. Good. Shake. That's good. Whew. Get some water. Really need that water. Gotta stay on top of that hydration. So, we're now gonna be doing the second one, and we wish to do better than the first. So the first we kind of ended up at a bit of a wonky angle. And one of the reasons for it, I am blaming, is I didn't have as much room down here. Because technically I should have this further out. At least with this setup. Ideally I would be like out in free space, but the thing with that is my legs will then be picked up by the webcam, and being a VTuber, I'm not entirely sure if I should be showing feet. But yeah, so far so good. Doing pretty alright. As you can see, we got a good bit of... Okay. That is a slight issue, so we are starting to turn a little bit. But that's fine. We can fix that. Okay. Man, I almost wish I had some air in the air compressor. I could really show that. So. That's lining up fairly well. With my other cut. So that's lining up reasonably well. We're going to be doing some big cut. And by doing some big cutting on this side, like this, at a bit of an angle, that's going to really help reduce the amount of like room we have. I think I'm getting close to that. Or maybe I've already overstepped a little bit, but that's the thing with hobbyist projects, is you can be as imperfect as you want. It doesn't matter a great deal if it's amazing or not amazing. Okay. We're getting real close. Woo! I feel like we're close enough. Yeah, we're close enough. Close enough on that. Oh. Woo! let's see. Do I want to release this? I have released it. I've already made my decision for me, whether I like it or not. But yeah, also, sorry about this, but safety first, kids. Sorry for the delay on that. Okay, so we've got this cut, and we gotta do a cut along here. So I gotta now figure out. Close is that? Kind of close. And a little over on the other side, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. So, next cut is going to be my most challenging, at least with the way my... The problem with this streaming setup is I need to make a rip cut down this piece, like here. Problem with doing that, it's really hard to do so with the workbench being here and all that stuff. So, going to make something of an attempt to get set up off string. What we can do. That's pretty good, but okay. So, hit that. This off to the side. Get. See if we can give you guys a view. It's something of a view. So, got this cut in, so we're gonna have to make a cut down. I think while I'm thinking about it, I should go ahead and make a mark across the top. That's gonna decide how I proceed, and I want to make sure that line, the backside of that line, hits the line on my is a little bit off. That line in a bit more. Oh. That line's gonna hit. Oh. My mark line's just a hair bit off. So I'm gonna measure up my other line and see if that's off. Yep, okay, so that's what's going on. So this is a good time to figure this out. I want to do something a little bit, you know, it's so hard to get the marking right. Okay, so I'm going to be checking what's happened is the lines I had on this side are off from the lines I have on this side. I feel like this side's better centered. So I'm going to commit to this side that's facing towards me before I start cutting. Oh. Oh. Lines that are reasonably somewhat parallel, those are the ones I'm going to go with. Those are the ones I'm going to commit to because I do want this. So this piece in the center, this is going to be like the piece of the tenon I'm going to be committing to as it goes into my workpiece. This seems reasonably more centered than some of my other... Oh yeah, that's fine. This seems like this will be sufficient, but like that's also like another thing with some of like almost home builds, like with what I'm doing here today, is like, you don't have to get it perfect. You don't have to get it like 100%. Okay, so I'm gonna be really watching my line, because these rip teeth, as you can see, are quite rather large. So they're a little bit harder to get going, at least in my experience, and definitely still holding up to that experience. But once you get them going, man, they can remove some wood. So it's going to be taking it real easy. And basically, having my saw at a 45 to the corner, like I'm attacking the corner. And as I attack that corner, you see how I've got more of this kerf supporting my blade. And I always take, it's very important at this stage to take time to check. So, right now, I have a slight twist out. I don't like that. So, I'm going to take a moment to lightly and gently scribe a new kerf on the other side. And this is kind of how you straighten out a kerf. Is you just start a new one from the opposite side. And that one is going to line... That one so far is lining up a lot better than what I had, because I was kind of going off to the side. So I can bring this over. And as I bring this over, it will merge with my other kerf. And then I'll be doing pretty good. But I'm also an amateur at this, so. But I do know as long as I get reasonably straightish, my curves follow my lines, I'm doing good. So, and lightish. Seems like whenever I get the saw going a little too aggressively, it wants to turn. Right now it's turning a little bit in. I don't like that, so I'm gonna hope, working off this curve on this side, that blade falls into the other curve, and then that straightens me out. And I didn't do quite what I wanted. So since I have this, it's a little bit too far over. You know what? If I'm just a bit outside my lines, I can just pare that down with a chisel or something. Probably a chisel. I was kind of hoping I would fall into that curve. I was hoping that would help me out a lot. Oh well. That didn't work, but eh. It's all good. I mean, it's actually a reasonably easy fix, you know? In the grand scheme of things. Ooh. Oh, man. I gotta say, it's not super fun constantly using my right hand, though. To do this, especially considering I'm left-handed. So, ooh. I mean, this is reasonable. It's reasonable enough to be fixed. Okay. Ta-da! Oh man, you gotta love the magic moment of whenever you can get that out. But yeah, I have a little bit of. I probably have a little bit too much additional material on this face here. You can kind of see how I had my little flap, but that's like whatever. Might just clean that up with a chisel a little bit. I don't know. I think honestly after I cut the second one, because then I'm gonna be because after I cut the second one, that's when I'm gonna be really concerned about my the width of this, and I worry about that then. But for now, so far it's reasonable. Reasonable. Remember to hydrate, kids. Always remember to hydrate. So, we'll go ahead and start the next one. And already off to a not super great start. Improving. Slowly getting better. Okay. So far, I like where my line's traveling here, and I like where my line's traveling there. So, I'm just gonna keep going easy, especially as I increase the pitch of the blade to bring it across to the other side. And I really want to be going light. And hopefully would not do what I just did, but that's, I mean, that's basically I had the same issue where I'm veering off course. I'm like, it's like my blade's trying to like cut at an angle. Girl, what I'm gonna do is where I like it, I'm gonna deepen my curve. Because this is the area closest to me. Where I'm close to me, I seem to get better accuracy. So I'm gonna double down on where I'm at and how that improves my accuracy. Then with that, let's see, I don't know, do I want to just lightly cut? Because that is so far somewhat reasonable. But the angle is terrible. The angle's awful. So it looks like the teeth are starting to go. And let's see what we get. Ow. I can't believe I may have actually fixed this. But I'm not going to let my optimism get better of me. I'm still going to keep going nice and easy. Really, looks really bad off my line. Ooh. Yeah. Because the thing is, my vertical lines are off. I know that. But this 28. 28. It'll be 28 millimeters. My mortises are 30 millimeters. I was thinking this was a little thick, but I might just be able to run with it. At this point, I'd rather run with it. I may have gotten a little too overzealous, maybe, but that's reasonably fine. Because now let's that curve. I don't want that to travel on that. Travel on this curve. But I don't think this curve has come over enough for that to happen. So we gotta bring it over. And this is going straight down. I'm keeping it relatively vertical because what I'm doing is very awkward. It is horrendously awkward. Okay. So, let's see. Try to top down. We're not too far off from where we wish to be earlier, so I just think I'm digging into a little bit of additional material on the side closest to me, because this is going to be my challenge. Oh. One of these days. One of these days, I'm gonna figure out a better camera angle and stuff, so I can actually like kind of do this a little bit better. Which I think I may have just had a brain blast. That I might test out. Might test that out eventually. Oh, we've been drifting out of the camera view? Looks like it. Light, ouchie. Big deal. It's just I would love to not have to use a hand to hold this and have two on the saw. I would love that. I would love that immensely. Because this honestly kind of sucks. Having to have one hand on and trying to make this cut while holding my workpieces. I feel like I'm breaking some rules. Definitely. Right. I just like to make a bit more progress a bit more quickly. Whew. Also, I would really appreciate not working up so much of a sweat. It is definitely far too much work to do this, as I'm doing it right now. But that's fun. I think I have a reasonable idea of how I want to finish it, and also how to and also how to proceed forward with the next. Well, the next cuts, because oh wait. Okay, so and we did not see that. That explains a lot. Okay, yep, I was using... And that's the difference. Of the... using the right side. So, let's do a little bit more. Oh, you want to go? You're close. You're real... Nope, you're not close. You're very stiff. I'm nearly through on this plane. May not be far enough over on my bottom plane. What it is, I'm gonna take a few more strokes here, and we'll see what that gets us. If it does us good, it does us good. It did not work. Okay, so we're gonna take our saw blade and we're gonna do something I would prefer not to do. Okay. Because I prefer not to make these cuts like this. I don't like using my blade horizontal to the ground. Blade horizontal to the ground means gravity is not helping me out. Versus where if I'm going from the top down, gravity is helping me out. But I just need a little cut. Or lot. This might be a lot. We will see. Woohoo! Yay! Oh man, I make this way too myself. Why do I do that? I shouldn't be doing that to myself, man. Okay, so we are just a hair short of 3 centimeters on this side. We are a hair long of 3 centimeters on this side. Okay, so not my best work, but that's fine. So, well, I'm now currently thinking about my next step. May not wish to do that. But yeah, we're going back to the workbench. We're going back to the workbench for a brief moment because this tenon gets what's called, there'll be some shoulder cuts here. So basically we have this whole face. We actually need to cut down on it. So those cuts. Whoa. I had a pretty good view at some point, and if I bring that into there, that's a reasonably decent view, but oh, workbench. That's why. That's what I was like, what? I was like, I thought I had a pretty, I thought my view was a bit better than that. Yeah, that's better. That's a lot better. I like that. That's good. Now I just gotta get this guy clamped down so that way doesn't want to move too much on me. Still wants to move, but not a whole lot. Okay, so okay. Now don't know if my build plans. This is why I don't like SketchUp. SketchUp advertises itself as being free. It is not free. So this one's a bit less than a centimeter. That one is a centimeter. Okay. So I need to do a cut here on down about a centimeter-ish. So pull saw. So we're going to be using cross-cutting teeth, and this is pretty simple. Also, the cool thing you can do at, say, like this stage, is you can kind of reference off the face of one of your other cuts, and then use that to bring your cut through. But the nicest thing about what I'm doing now, this isn't going to really take a whole lot of work compared to some of my other cuts. Yeah, like boom, it's done. And also, I don't really worry about. I really don't worry about these too much. Okay, so I'm gonna undo my clamp. We're gonna take it, workpiece, flip it around, I will grab the clamp. And then we'll get... Oh, wait. Oh, give it a nice gentle squeeze. Oh. Okay, so work pieces a little less stable that time. Let's try repositioning. And I got even more unstable. One of these days I'm gonna have stability in my life. I don't think I'm gonna be that fortunate though. So this is just gonna wanna rise up on me. So since this cut is pretty straightforward and easy, I don't really have to go that far. But this is actually one of the nice things about smaller, like lighter cuts is you don't have to. It's not as like much work. You don't have as like much material to go through, and that's like a real nice thing. This one's going to need a little bit more action, so we'll just give it a little bit more action. Because honestly, if I overcut these a little bit, I'm not too worried about it. Okay, so it's off the side. I'm going to undo this monstrosity that refuses to play nice with me. And we're gonna do, hopefully, make good on my little bit of a brain blaster that I had. Basically what that's gonna be, I don't want any weight on that, is take my board that, how do I want to do this? Out like this. Grab a clamp. And then we'll clamp this down. Grab clamp number 2. And we'll get this clamped with 2 clamps. Now here's the moment of truth. And that's the moment of truth for you, is that you can't see it because of the clamp action. So I'm going to go ahead and actually cut these like this. I'm aware this isn't exactly the best view I can give you guys, but honestly, I want to be reasonably quick, and I want this to go reasonably quick and straightforward. So just gonna kind of give myself some light guiding lines, because hey, I'm the type of guy who can use all the help he can get. I'm just unfortunately that kind of woodworker. Okay. That line. Now, how do I repeat my success? I'm gonna have to live with that. Okay, so I got some lines now to follow. Biggest reason I'm doing this is that now this is in the air. And I can get this right where I want it. Right stance. That's why I wanted to get that into the air. Get into the air, a good angle attack. Most importantly, 2 hands on tool. Makes life so much easier. So, again, eat. Ugh. Woo! And let's undo some clamps and let's take a look at the results. You guys can actually see it a little bit. So, here we go. So, got turned out pretty okay. It's pretty square. I mean, I got this little bit of like flap on this side, but that's fine. But it's reasonably square. And then, so, because of my tenons like not super square, and I put it into the workpiece, if there's a twist in this, that's going to make it harder for me to insert this. And then also, I'm going to be making tenons on the bottom of both these legs. Ooh, okay. Okay, so this has been reasonably fun so far. But I have been hydrating today, and I have to visit the facility, so I'm going to go hit up the little homesteader's room, and then we'll actually start working on the tenons that are going to go on the bottom. Okay, see you in a bit. I'm back. So we now get to do tenons down here on both legs. So this one, the narrow face of the tenon was facing a hole. This for these, it's going to be different. I'm also going to be going holy workbench for a little bit. So here's our about to be a victim. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and set the depth for what we got. So last tenon was 6 centimeters. We're going to actually be making this one 7. Be a bit bigger. I think, actually. Yeah. Let me double check my build plans here. Doesn't tell. Does not tell me the depth. So I don't know if I want to go with 7 because basically what's going to happen is, so this is a foot piece here, and this is the mortise. The tenon we're going to be cutting right now is what's going to go slide into this mortise. But my this is a through mortise all the way through. Honestly, we're going to cut an 8-inch, not an 8-inch, 8 centimeters. So. One second. I'm going to look at something. Okay, questions answered. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this, we're gonna make this the full depth of the mortise, which is also the width of these boards, which is 88 millimeters. Granted, I'm not gonna be super concerned about being super accurate on that, because we're just gonna be right around in there, so. Okay, that seems to be a reasonably good mark. Reasonably good mark achieved! So, this, and that. Cool. We're gonna take our edge, line it up with our line, just a looks perfect. So we'll come over here. And since the short side is going to be on this side, give this a nice good X. That way I know that's all going to be like waist. And check. Looks wonderful. Then there. And set that. Hold it. Couple scribes. Take a look. Looking good. Around here and if I did it. Okay, and then also this one is going to be one where we take our pencil and we're going to put an X in it. So then, as you can see, our lines go all the way around. That is going to be the depth of our mortise. Well, our tenon. Thankfully we have mostly finished the mortising work for this build. The last stream we're gonna do for this is we're going to cut 4 small mortises and then we're gonna put it together. But that's going to be like the last. last time we were doing that. So for now, not there yet. Not there yet by the county mile. Cool. Sorry about that. Good, so we'll... have the utmost confidence. There. Ah, we're narrower. So, here. Thing. Center. I want to evaluate. Wait, that's 36. Okay. Okay. This line's a little bit off. I have a little bit of a twist in it. So try that. Yes. Trying to evaluate how I want to do that. I think I know what my answer is going to be. And the answer is going to be is I don't want to make my cuts on my lines. I want to make my cuts parallel to my line. That's what I need to do here. I have to make my cuts parallel to the lines, and that's going to give me the thickness I want. So I'm gonna flip it over, and we're gonna now go to this side, and we're gonna hopefully have a little bit more success here. But we'll do our halfway point. Meters, 3 centimeters. Okay. Oh no. Oh my goodness, this may have been. I love it. This one's successful. So the thing is I have a successful and an unsuccessful. One of my mistakes from last time was I did not have and then full squared from one side to the other. So going off my successful side, I just have to mark, do a mark. This is being done on the top face. I have that off camera for now. Well, primary reason just being it's kind of inconveniencing the show. So take a gander at my work. And I'm happy about it there. So, happening. So, kind of giving you a slight. Ooh, yeah, there you go. So this is the side that went out well. Brought the lines across. So if we flip it over to our not good side, as you can see, here's our not good side. So, but we do have some advantages. Advantage 1 is this line is pretty much right on this line right here. It's right on this one. So this one, I just gotta make a mark parallel. I know what I gotta do at this point. It's just I have to. Brain's gotta do trig. Not really. I don't really have to do trigonometry, but it's just I just have to have the right thoughts in the right order and make sure I'm good. I want to make sure I'm successful. And yeah, I could have done better than that. So, oh. That's why. That's why. Okay. Oh man, this is a pain. This is just. But I am going to get it closer and closer to where I want it to be. That line. Okay. Well, I know what I'm going to do now. And that is, I'm going to cut this part off first. And then I'm going to worry about this part. And what I'm going to do, primarily, work from this side and then bring this cut over. And I'm just going to have to try to play nice with lines. Weird. This is 3 centimeter. Once I get down into here, it gets larger than 3 centimeter, and I don't know why. Well, I am pretty sure I know why, and that's because this isn't perfectly flat. So when I try to reference off this to get it strike a line down, my line's slightly tilted. Pretty sure that's the thing that's bothering me. Well, the thing that's making my life difficult. And that's the thing making my life difficult right now. So, I feel like I got some reasonably good layout lines. So I'm gonna get some blocks under this guy. Let's see here. How about... there? That's reasonable. That's reasonable. I can work with that. That's what that. I need to make sure I have my workpiece ported. That's very important to me. Or at least that's the thing that's going to make my life easiest. So, we've got a tenon marked out. So let's go ahead and work on getting it cut. So, I don't have the advantage of full freedom of movement. However, though, I am reasonably confident in my clamp. Say that, and this problem is I need to add another clamp to this. I'm gonna add a stop block clamp here, and that should help me out. Okay, and reasonably on the line. Yeah. So whoa. Hey, stop clamp. You're supposed to help me out here. I want to get away about... I would love to get away from doing one-handed cuts today. Ooh. I'm gonna grab another clamp. Because that is a woodworker's solution to all of life problems, is just add clamps. So that should be a pretty... secure, but it's secured to the workbench, and the workbench is on wheels. Whoa. And we're back to holding. So yeah, this is life. But you know what? I am growing my skill set slowly but surely, so. So, how am I doing on this side? Really close. Belt. I'm almost there. I can't see the other side, so I'm just gonna go ahead. Give this a few more strokes and call it good. Okay, so start disengaging clamps. 2 clamps disengaged. And we'll... oh yeah, that's good. Reasonably. Keep tilting my blade. But... got a reasonably good view. And so, to the next side. For this, we're just gonna start nice and easy. Because what I want to do is I want to get one part all the way to as deep as I want, while the other side slowly moves across the piece. Oh, hey, hello. How you doing, Lillian? I hope life's treating you well. Life's been treating me reasonably all right. Can't complain too much. Well, okay, I'm going to complain about one thing, and this is also partly admittedly a mistake, and that is I am pretty sure at this point in time I failed on my carrot seeds this year. So I'm not going to get any carrots from my garden this year. So, but past that, life's pretty good. I mean, carrots are at least reasonably cheap at the grocer. Okay, so I've maintained this a little bit straighter versus my other cut. Reasonably good there. Clamp. And clamp. And let us take a gander. Okay, I'm a little bit short, but that's fine. I'm going good. Besides, wait, I fell a few weeks ago and messed up my. Ooh, and then my brother sat on my wrist, and now it's messed. Oh, oof. Oh, sorry to hear that. Granted, I do hope you are making a little bit more of a recovery. Yeah, let's see. How long ago was that? I should know. Was it 2021 or 2022? Yeah, once upon a time I was riding my bike back home from the... Well, I went to the homebrew store, and as I was riding in roadway, because per local regulations, that's where bicyclists should be. I got my handlebars clipped by a passing van. And when I got my handlebars clipped, I flipped over. Getting better, but not fully healed. Okay, well, it's good you're making progress. I flipped over my handlebars. And let's see. Where did I land? And when I went over my handlebars, I landed at the base of my left shoulder blade. Was like the first part of my body that hit the pavement after going over the handlebars. And that's probably been like the most significant injury I've had in like the last 5 years or so. But I did get, and I did go to the hospital. I did get like checked out and all that fun stuff, and nothing terribly bad. Apparently, thankfully I just had like some like muscle damage from that, and I had like a lot of pain in my shoulder from that event. I did momentarily learn how to sleep on my back. Because I couldn't sleep, because if I slept on the side that I hurt, it would put like too much pressure and it would hurt. Or if I slept on like my other side, because I'm typically a side sleeper. If I slept on the other side, my arm would like extend out and stretch those damaged muscles, and then those damaged muscles would be letting me know, hey buddy, we're not whole right now. But thankfully, it healed up over, I don't know. I mean, I was hurting for probably a month, I think, if I remember right. But I did momentarily learn how to sleep on my back, because that was the only way I could sleep. And I also learned, well, actually I didn't learn. I also got because when I went to the hospital to get checked out, they were like, okay, you got, because I also got like my knee skinned up because I was wearing shorts. So got my knee skinned up, and so they're like, okay, we're gonna hit you with a tetanus shot. So that's my most recent tetanus shot. So I got that updated. So I don't have to worry about it when I get cut on rusty objects. Which thankfully I haven't got cut recently on any rusty objects. And I would like to maintain that momentum moving forward. But yeah. But yeah. Sorry to hear that that happened to you. But it's also good to know that you're making a recovery. So I want to make a little bit. I'm going to cut this down a little bit more. And I'm just going to kind of freehand it. Because I just need a little bit more depth, especially on this other side. And then once we do that, actually, I think, do I need to do cuts for this? Yes, I do. Okay. That won't be too difficult. Doing the cheek crosscuts aren't super hard. Okay, cool. Ooh. Okay, cool. So, I got my crosscuts, which are my along the grain cuts, are my X'd out parts. So now, I have to cut down these lines, and we'll make these pieces of wood come off. But I'm gonna be repositioning things, shifting things around, moving things, and you know, all the reasonable shenanigans that happens when I do woodworking projects, because I like the mobility that this camera I have gives me, but I could there's definitely there's some serious room for improvement on it. So I want to get this reasonably centered where it's going to be. Then I will. Then I also want to see if we can. You guys get to see one of my handy dandy clamps. That's one. Does a reasonably okay job. But I do want to try to give you guys a little bit better view. So, what I'm going to attempt to do, I'm going to take this. This is actually one of the foot pieces. The tenon that I'm cutting here is actually going to slide into one of the mortises I have here. Actually, here's another foot piece with its mortise. So, should be reasonably solid, reasonably good. Gotta get a brace during the day, because it's getting hard. Oh, okay, pick up pots and such. That's fun. Ooh, yeah, saying that's fun is certainly a way to say that. Yeah, actually, my boss at work, he actually told me, well, he informed me of this like yesterday, which is funny because I was actually on vacation last week, so I didn't see him all last week, but apparently he was helping a neighbor clean out some gutters, and the ladder came out from underneath of him, and he fell on the ladder, and he ended up breaking 2 ribs. And he was just like, "Hey man, I can work, I can do stuff, but I can't do like any sort of weight." And I was like, okay. I can do heavy lifting. I am a reasonably physically active male. I can handle that, but I think it was just kind of sort of funny that he proceeded to tell me on Wednesday that he's like, "Hey man, I can't like really do work," and it's like, or like, well, like heavy lifting, and it's like, shouldn't you like notified me of this sooner? Well, I don't know if we did like heavy lifting type work like earlier in the week. I don't know. I have a bit of a goldfish memory. At least when it comes to like Pacific stuff. Ooh, hope he's all good. Never, yeah. It's never fun hurting yourself. I don't know. Well, yeah, it's never fun. I mean, occasionally there's like light stuff, which occasionally happens because like, I don't know. I mean, granted, I am basically constantly in the business of like getting minor wounds. Like, for example, like, actually, I've got like I got this like slight cut on my left index finger, which is really lovely because I'm left-handed, and this is my left-handed index finger, and it's like I use this finger like a lot, like grabbing things, using like tools and such, and yeah. Oof. But I mean, I'm mostly like in the business of like getting minor cuts, which was actually kind of that was actually kind of like one of the nice things about like being on vacation for like 7 working days was towards the end of those working days, and especially considering I wasn't home, not working on projects or anything, my hands were actually looking really nice and cut free for the first time in a long time. So I'm gonna bring this out a little bit. So we've got our focus, and since it's basic, I don't have a workbench. When I go to attack this with the saw, I can maintain very high strike angles, and I have room for 2 hands, which I'm really interested in seeing how well this goes, because we did the setup for when I cut the cheeks on like the other piece of this. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this goes. But I will be starting slow. Yeah, it sucked since I hurt my right arm and hand, which is my dominant. Yeah, it's certainly kind of another world of hurt when it's like the part of yourself that you actually use the most. Uh-oh. And not doing any getting hurt. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be starting off real slow. Real slow, real nice and easy. Okay, make sure I'm following my line. And I am. I can just get back to my curve. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna put a bit of an extra weight on that. Okay. Granted, this is definitely doing a lot better than the first time. Loose. Ooh. Ooh. That's real loose. That's real loose. It wants to come off. Where am I being held up at? Ah, did I? Ah. Okay. So I actually did not go low enough. Well, not far enough down the piece. Nope, that's plenty far. That's not the problem. Let's see what the problem is with the crosscut. So, in here. Yep. Woo! Ah! Love it. Yay! Oh man, that went so much smoother than the earlier one. That went so much smoother. It would be definitely be nice if I could put like a real nice heavy weight on the other end. I can't clamp the other side, but ooh, actually speaking of weight, the other leg, I can put that over here. Now kind of put a little extra weight, and that'll keep this from wanting to like teeter-totter on me. Hey, well, gotta say, really happy with how that went out. So, let's go ahead and start on the other side. But it also makes an absolute world of difference. So, actually being able to operate the saw with two hands versus one, because earlier I was trying to make these cuts with just using one arm. Really tired me something terrible. But this works. I get the nice angle of attack I desire, and I am able to use two hands to work my tool. So, a little bit of adjustments, and let's have some fun. Well, I'm gonna have fun. Onto that curve. we're close. How close? Want to... No, you wanna... Definitely wanna... Get in there. Let's bring you over. Don't wanna be hitting the... Oh! Bounced out. Get back in. And... Yeah. Yeah. Love it. Yay. Puts all down. Ooh. Okay, so I am really liking the general momentum I have with setup. But yeah. There it is. That is the better part of the tenon. So I now have to cut the what's called the cheeks of the tenon, which is going to involve doing a cross cut here, about a centimeter down, then cross cut here, and then once again I'll be doing 2 rip cuts. I'll take off like 2 small pieces of wood, and that will give a tenon that will go into one of these mortises. So we'll go ahead and we'll start on that. Oop. Tricky part I have is I've got this clamp. I got this blade going back and forth right near each other. But so far so good. Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's going to be first crosscut done. Hang you out over there. And release. And my dead weight blocks. And So what are you making? So I am currently cutting out the pieces for what's going to be this is going to be my second Japanese sawhorse. Well, like Japanese joinery inspired. I've made one, and so part of kind of what I've been doing for over the past several months is I've been doing like these like streams called Yapping and Sawdust, which the stream is less focused on here's a project or a couple of phases in the project, and I'm just trying to get them less focused on the project and more just being around, hanging out, working on the thing. But yeah, if you actually give me a brief moment, I can actually grab the earlier one and I can kind of set that out and kind of show you where things are going. This is the first one of the sawhorses, so see, got feet, it's got legs, it's got a brace bar, then it has the top. So this piece I'm working on, grab a clamp. This piece that's currently being worked on today is actually the leg for the second one, and this tenon I have here is going to be the piece This way? No, towards me, towards me, towards me. Going to be the piece of wood that goes down into this block right here. And that's basically... I mean, that's basically the sawhorse. Some of the joints on this are a little bit loose, but that's also because I'm pretty inexperienced at it, but the only way to get good at something is to practice, and building 2 of these has basically been my practice. I bought a whole bunch of cedar wood late last year for the woodshed project, and then I also had extra lumber that I had just like laying around for projects, and so this has been one of those projects. Because when I'm doing other builds, I usually have issues where I run out of places to sit stuff. I do have a pair of sawhorses right now. I do have some tables. I do have options to put stuff in places. But I could use some more options. So I'm building 2 of these. Because with 2 of these, I could have them like out in the shop. And I can set lumber across them. Because right now, my table saw is currently the thing that I put stuff on for the next project. Because right now I actually have some parts on it, some stuff for Sunday stream, where I'm going to make a folding laundry rack. But I could definitely use more places to set stuff, especially where I'm doing larger builds. And I certainly have done a few large builds, and so I'm trying to kind of just build up. This is actually kind of another piece of like shop infrastructure. It's making a thing to learn how to make it and to build skills that I don't quite have yet. So this is the first one, and currently working on the pieces for the next one. But yeah, it definitely has its... That foot right there is actually like really, really loose. But I mean, yes, this has imperfections, but hey, you know what? I'm not a perfect person, and I don't need perfect work for that work to be useful. If I was making stuff for other people, I certainly would want to care more about like aesthetics and making sure like really nice. But for me, just a guy in a garage, this is plenty good enough. So, but yeah, that's what I've been working on. I think it looks cool. Like, I actually got the build plans from another, like, Japanese woodworker guy, and who does, like, YouTube videos and such like that. And he basically did a video of him building one of those, granted just one, and then he also released build plans, which unfortunately were hosted on SketchUp, and I did get the plans and used plans to build that. But I also learned to... I also developed a dislike of SketchUp, primarily because SketchUp, it's a very business software. It's like very business oriented in terms of like its like use cases. So it's not the best thing when you're like a home hobbyist, because even though the guy is like, yeah, there's a free version, I don't know if he was just meaning like a free trial thing, but I'm very thankful that I actually like took screenshots of the build plans, because my access to the program SketchUp actually expired and I couldn't access the build plans. So I'm actually building this one wholly off memory of building the first one, and a couple of the pictures I took of the plans, so that way I just like could have them. I think one of the reasons I grabbed the pictures was because I actually wanted to like pull them up on stream so I could like show people, especially considering I did not have an example. I had an example to show, and I was like, hey, here's the first one I made. And now we're working on the second one. And so these will be very nice upgrades for the shop. And then at some point, I have what I kind of call... I'm kind of calling it the area of doom, where it's an area of the... because it's basically the far side wall of the shop that I've kind of been using for some like miscellaneous storage of stuff. And I definitely need to actually like sit down and, well, figure out some plans for what I want to do there and kind of organize that a bit better. Because if I do that, then I can get a little bit more room in my shop, which is always a very desirable thing, because I always like having additional room in here, because if I get more room, then I can fit more tools. But since I just got back from vacation recently, I'm definitely not going to be buying any tools in like the now time, because I didn't budget as much for parking, and parking in Chicago is very expensive. So, but it was overall a really good trip, and it was actually real nice to actually get like out and about for like the first time in a long time. But yeah, I think that's enough yammering. My throat's getting dry, and I will finish up this tenon. Oh, let's see. What's the best? Actually, bring this further out. It's the best way to... Actually, wait, if I do that, then it's a little bit harder for you guys to see. And with that, nice clamp, nice secured. Cool. Do a crosscut. And let's... Don't do that, don't do that. Okay. And that's the crosscut. It's literally that easy. And boop. So, this will set our various large pieces of wood that I've been using as weights. And we'll get a clamp on that. Oh. Actually, my tools are buried because I am very bad about that. I am absolutely terrible about that. So, I want to do this. I want these to... So I want my cross to be 70 millimeters. But I have 88 to take care of, so I need to basically cut a centimeter off both sides. What? Actually, wait, let me double check my mortise. I don't know if I cut this. I cut the 7th, but we'll take a little bit We'll do a centimeter change. Need to cut a straight line. Nice to have a good straight line. I'm happier with that line. Problem is when I'm referencing off isn't the straightest thing in the world, so. Let's see, that was something. Play. Eyeball this. That's a line. I can live with those lines. Oh, grab the handy dandy Ryoba saw. Oh, I'll be, instead of the crosscut teeth that I was using earlier, I'm going to be using the... Wait. Okay. So instead of the crosscut teeth, which are the smaller teeth on this side, I'll be using the larger rip teeth. So I'm going to get the cheeks. I'm going to get these two end pieces cut off. We'll get this tenon finished up. And I think that will be the end of the stream. Well, a good finish to it. My crosscut was not as deep, it seems. That's all it took was literally just one pull. Yeah. One waist piece. And time for another. It's a little bit uneven. That's fine. Let's see what we got. Okay. I can live with that. Oh, let's get this out of these clamps here. Well, just one. Okay. Oh. This is the earlier piece. And here we go. Basically, what's gonna happen, project, that gonna fit in there, ideally. But I think pretty sure my mortises need some cleaning up work. They're not gonna fit super well. I need to clean up my mortises. So I know I have to clean that up. And at least get together on this guy. Kinda, maybe. A little bit better. Ooh. Okay, well. Okay, so. Weird. But yeah. So. Got one And 2 mortises cut. Well, got pretty much one. We got 1 leg done. Nearly. Needs a little bit more work. I definitely have some mortises I need to clean up, but I will be cleaning up the mortises off stream. It's also kind of getting it's getting later. I've had a long day and it'd be nice to get a shower. So I'm gonna go ahead and end stream here. I want to thank you all very much for coming in, especially you, Lillian. It's been a while. Nice to have you in. And yeah, so whatever it is, wherever you are, whether it's day, morning, or night, hope you all have a good one. And yeah, this is Sugi Yamagawa, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.